Zhongli is one of the most anticipated characters you guys have let me know in a Genshin Impact. We're going over everything you guys should be looking at for weapon selection, from 5-star weapons, 4-star weapons, craftable weapons, and even some 3-star weapons, so you guys can get prepared and craft the weapon that are going to suit you best with your team composition and your use of this new geo game-changing character. The first one we want to talk about, guys, there's going to be 2 different 5-star polearms. They're going to be working very well with how Zhongli is used in your team. So the first one actually is going to be the primordial jade wing spear. Now this spear I think is going to be by far his best spear possible, because he is going to be a bruiser sort of type of damage dealer. If you guys have seen the skills for Zhongli, he can do a lot of things. He does reduce damage, he does put shields on, but he also resonates with other geo damage structures to constantly do geo damage. He is a spear user, so he's a fast attacking character. He also has big burst damage with his ultimate, as well as the unique petrification status element that increases both physical and geo damage. He does not have an imbue as of right now that we know of from the closed beta test. This means that he does do geo damage with his skills, but his physical attacks, his normal and charge attacks, they do physical damage. This means that you're going to try to maximize your crit hit rate and crit hit damage like of a lot of other characters, but then it's going to be determined based on your team composition and what you want him to do, whether it's more physical damage or more geo damage, or maybe a mix of both. What weapon's going to be good for him? Why is the primordial jade wing spear so powerful? This is because it's just everything that you just want for him to do more damage. It's got the crit hit rate substat, which means it's going to allow you to hit that 50, 60, 70% critical hit chance substat, and then pile on your critical hit damage, get to 130, 150% critical hit damage with a high critical hit rate. That's just going to increase the damage of everything you do with this character. But there's more to it. He's a spirit character. Spirit characters attack multiple times. He even has that cool little flip kick that you guys have seen before. And the other part of the primordial winged jade spear is that on hit, it increases your attack by a certain percentage for 6 seconds, but it stacks multiple times. The base value is a 3.2% attack buff for 6 seconds, but you can get 7 stacks of this. So that's a lot of extra stacks of just attack bonus for him. But on top of that, not only is that increasing your physical attacks, your normal attacks, your charge attacks, and your skills, but if you hit the max stacks, which is not that hard to do, it's going to increase your skill damage by 12% as well. Now if you get extra unbinds for this weapon, you get some more refinements, that goes all the way up to 28% skill damage, as well as 6% attack buff per stack with 7 stacks. So that's a lot of damage. 35% attack buff there, 42% attack buff there. A lot of attack buff. A lot of attack buff here. Big maths coming in. This is awesome for him. Crit hit chance, damage buff for your skills, attack buff for everything that he does, the geo resonance damage, his elemental burst, everything. This just does everything that you want for Zhongli. Now, the other spear to talk about here for the 5-star spears is the skyward spine. Now, this one's a little bit different, but it's got its own little bit of uniqueness. So it does have the passive black wing, and its secondary stat here is actually going to be energy recharge. I know energy recharge isn't the craziest thing that you're looking for on a main DPS character, but this is going to allow you quicker use of his elemental burst, and his elemental burst does have that unique, very strong petrify effect. It's going to immobilize a lot of your enemies. It's going to increase the damage they take by geo damage as well as physical damage. On top of that, the black wing effect is going to increase your crit hit rate by 8% for free here at refinement unrefined. So level 1 refinement, just having the base ability there. It's also going to increase your attack speed by 12%. So that's going to help you out in a lot of the circumstances there, especially if you want to do like a chain gun sort of team composition where you have characters like Fischl or other characters that proc effects when your main character is attacking. This is going to help you fire off bonus attacks from those characters as well. So that's going to be something that you might want to look into in certain team compositions there. Maybe you have Fischl in a Diona, right, for a lightning character setup, so you guys can do superconduct and you swap Zhongli in. You have the petrify effect come out and you're flying around doing the super fast attacks with your spear. You're gonna have that superconduct effect down, so you have 50% physical defense down. So Zhongli's damage is getting damage bonus, and you petrify stuff. Oz is doing more damage, and then you blow up all your structures and just do a bunch of damage that way. So that's going to be something that you guys can do there. And then on top of that, The attacks with the spear have a 50% chance to trigger a vacuum blade that does additional damage as physical damage in a small AoE that procs once every 2 seconds. So that also is going to have a damage proc on it as well. So that can proc once every 2 seconds. He's a fast attacking character, got the energy recharge, got free critical hit rate, and you have attack speed on top of that. So that's going to be another top tier spear for him if you want to have more use of his elemental burst. Now let's get into some of the 4-star weapons here. The two that are top tier in my mind for you guys here that you want to be looking at here, you're going to have an amazing, we've seen it before, the crescent pike. The crescent pike, especially if you want to maximize the amount of physical damage that he does do, is going to be amazing. This is because the crescent pike works very well with spear type characters because it is a spear, obviously, but it has the effect of the damage proc bonus, the infusion needle. So after you pick up an elemental orb or particle, right, you use your elemental skill, another character uses their elemental skill, you give that elemental particle or orb to Zhongli. Every attack that he does for the next 5 seconds is going to proc an additional attack that will do damage. We've seen Zhongli, I always get those two names mixed together, very similar, but Zhongli use this spear to great effect already because it's going to proc extra attacks. It's not adding 20% damage to your attacks, it's procking. And you have the spear characters who have like his spear kick that can hit multiple times. Her second, third hit in her skill does a multiple attacks. This will proc multiple times on that and do bonus physical damage. At max refinement, this is a 40% extra proc. Now, if you go into your skill sections and you look at the percentages of a lot of different characters out there, specifically spear characters, you'll look and see that those multiple type hit attacks, they are like 30%, right? 30% per hit. This is going to do another attack on each one of those hits for 40%. And then on top of that, the secondary stat here for the crescent pike is a bonus physical damage. So it's going to increase all of your normal and charge attack damage. And then it's going to double dip in on the bonus attacks. Those bonus attacks can crit, they can crit hit damage. They're going to use your crit hit damage, and it's just going to be a good time there. And if you once again put him in a super conduct team with a cryo character as well as a electro character, get that super conduct effect, lower that physical resist, you have very nice combination for Zhongli to get in there, do that bruiser, put those shields on himself, apply his petrify effect with his elemental burst. Not only does it increase the geo damage by 20%, it also will increase the physical damage as well. So you're going to be just kind of dipping into a lot of different cookie jars with this weapon, and it's going to be very good for you. Now, the other weapon to talk about here is actually the deathmatch, which is one of the most bland weapons, but if you're having trouble with critical hit rate stacking, critical hit damage, this is going to help you out a ton there. This is because it has critical hit rate as a substat, and then it has the effect of gladiator, and it will increase your attack as well as your defense percent. So if there's more than one opponent that you're facing, you're going to get an attack and defense percent. Base refinement is 16% attack, 16% defense. If there's only one enemy left alive, though, you're going to get a full attack benefit there, and base effect there at refinement rank 1 is going to be a 24% attack buff. Now, attack buffs aren't the craziest thing in the game. You're not like trying to look around for just maximizing your attack. It's really crit hit chance, crit hit damage, but this already gives you a large amount of crit hit chance. So if you're having some issues gathering some gear together with crit hit chance substats, so you can use that crit hit damage main stat circlet. That is the thing that you guys want to be doing at endgame for pretty much every damage dealer out there, because you get 68% critical hit damage. As long as you can get your critical hit rate up there 50% plus, that thing is going to allow you to do so much damage having critical hit damage. And Zhongli is not any different than any of those other damage dealers out there. So deathmatch is also very powerful for you in that way. Now, also, we do have, if you guys don't have any of these weapons, if you guys want to hold on to your white tassels, the 3-star weapon there, this does have critical hit rate as a substat as well. It's going to help you out for all the same reasons that we listed before, to maximize your critical hit rate so you can get that critical hit damage rolling. Then on top of that, it also is going to give you a 48% at max refinement. It's a 3-star weapon, so you guys should be able to get it out there. You can get these from chests in the world. 48% normal attack damage increase as well. Now, is it the best weapon out of all of the weapons we've talked about? No, it's got the lowest base attack, so it's not going to hold up. It's not going to be better than the 4-star weapons. It's not going to be better than the 5-star weapons, but I wanted to mention that one. If you're using a 3-star weapon, that's the one you should use. It's got that critical hit rate. It's got that normal damage increase there, and it's going to do some work for you if you're trying to use a 3-star weapon on Zhongli. So keep that stuff in mind, guys, as you go about using and looking for different weapons for jungling in the future as you use your resources. Talk about and think about sort of team composition you're putting him in. You can do a lot of cool stuff. Double Geo character is pretty much going to be a mainstay for him because he works so well with the double Geo characters. His number one, I would say his number one partner is going to be Ningguang, but there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with him. If you want to see that video, the best partners for him based on what we know from the preliminary data we have on this character, subscribe for more. Check that out in the future, like obviously the traditional YouTube stuff, and hopefully I'll see you guys in more future Genshin Impact content. And then until then, guys, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.